We're going to talk about 3 vital strategies when your picky eater is losing it, and how to keep yourself calm and keep your sanity. You know what? I say 3 vital strategies, but you know me. I love to talk about this stuff, so I'll probably give you 4 or 5. But where I want to start is I want you to think about parenting proactively. When we parent proactively, we think ahead. We think about, when is that kid most likely to have their meltdown? It's usually right after school when the kids are really tired, they're really hangry, and they just want something to eat. What can we do before all that happens to make sure these kids are getting plenty of positive attention for positive behavior? You know, I'm a big fan of Amy McCready and her positive parenting solutions. I watch all of her courses. I have read her books. I just think she's fabulous. And one of the things that she taught me years ago was that kids have a bucket, and that we need to keep filling up that bucket periodically throughout the day with positive attention, so that they don't go seeking a way to fill up that bucket through negative behavior, through losing it, through punching their baby brother, through, just finding any way to get you to pay attention to them. And please don't take that the wrong way. I know everybody out there, we're all fabulous, everybody's fabulous parents. Everybody's paying attention to their kid. But because we all live in such a busy lifestyle and have such hectic days nowadays, we really have to take a few minutes and think about how we're going to connect with our kids and show them some positive reinforcement throughout the day. And by that, I mean attention. Okay. Kids need positive attention, but you don't want to give it to them during a meltdown. One of the biggest mistakes I see when I'm working with families is that because the parents want the child to calm down, they give them a lot of attention and they try to kind of talk them through it. That's something you would do with an adult, not a young child. And here's the difference. An adult understands that you're coming to their rescue, that you're helping them to think a little bit more clearly, that you're going to have a conversation and the two of you are going to calm down and think through this together. When kids are losing it, they can't process all that information. The best thing that we can do as parents is to follow the 3 C's. Stay calm, concise, and consistent in your response. When I say calm, I mean calm. It is hard because you want to start yelling and you want to lose it too. I've definitely had those moments with my own kids, believe me. But the best thing we can do is be as calm as possible. I want you to use your most quiet yet available voice you can. What I mean by that is they can still hear it, but it's calm and it's quiet and it's a little soothing, okay? The more you can stay in that zone, the more likely that kid will also start to calm down, because what they'll do is they'll feed on your energy. So you don't need to say a lot to them. You just need to be calm, concise, and consistent, which brings me to my next point, which is parenting consistently. And in order to parent consistently, every adult in the household has to be doing this. We all have to be on the same page. We all have to be doing the same thing. That is the most vital point of all. So get together with your partner and make sure that the 2 of you are following the same game plan. Because if one parent is doing it 7 out of 10 times and the other parent isn't doing it at all, or is doing it 3 out of 10 times, it doesn't all equate to 10, okay? It has to be everyone being as consistent as possible. Also, know that if you have a partner that you're parenting that child with, whether it be your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your grandmother, whoever is there with you as a community to support that child, that make sure you're tag teaming it a little bit. Talk to each other, have a secret signal. Maybe it's just a little tug on the ear, like, I need you to get this kid. I need you to take over here, so that everybody can stay very, very calm and take turns helping that child. Make sure when you're chatting with your partner about everyone using this same tool, that we're all on the same page, we're using the same parenting tool, that you truly understand what that is. Have a conversation about it. Maybe even, sounds a little silly, but do a little role playing, you know? Well, yeah, but when he loses it and he takes his food and he chucks it on the table as hard as he can, what do you think we should do? Or what do you find works? And, you know, here's something I'm thinking might be helpful. Make sure you have an agreement how you're going to handle those moments so that everybody's being consistent. And then finally, my last point, if you want your child to have a different type of behavior than what you're seeing at meal times, or you're seeing around their attempts at trying new foods, or just when they're hangry, or whatever it happens to be, I want you to assign a label to that child that's who you want them to be. And what I mean by that is, if you want them to be gentle, talk about being gentle all the time. You know, you're out for a walk in the park and you see maybe a big sister being gentle with the baby brother. Point that out and say, wow, she's really being gentle with her baby brother. Or talk about that in picture books, storybooks, or even model it for each other. You know, perhaps when you're brushing your older daughter's hair and putting a braid in, you're telling her, I want to be so gentle. I'm trying not to pull too hard. I really want to be gentle with you. And then say to your kids, you know, I really like how gentle you're being with your friend. Or I just want to remind you to be extra gentle with the puppy. Be extra gentle with the puppy. Another example of this would be something I did with my own kids. We talked a lot about being kind. And from the time that they were itty bitty kids, I would just say to them, you know what? We're going to invite everybody in the class to the birthday party because we're kind, because you're a kind, kind friend. Or, you know what, we're going to go over and help the neighbor rake her leaves because we're kind. Sometimes I'd say to them, we're Potocks, we're kind. And in other words, assign that label to the child so that they develop some internal motivation to be that way. And then when you catch them acting that way, you can say to them, I've always known that you are kind. I love it when I see you being kind. Or, I really like the way you were so gentle with that puppy when he was playing ball with you, because he wanted to get kind of rough. You knew you had to be gentle. I bet the puppy really liked playing with you. Do you see how you're feeding these positive affirmations to a child throughout the day, so that when the time comes, if he does have a meltdown, you're going to give it very, very little attention. You don't want to reinforce those negative behaviors. Yes, you can gently redirect him, but if he's losing it, sometimes the best thing to do is just ignore it if you possibly can, so that it never works for the child. That's the point. You don't want that behavior to work. You want the good behavior to work, and you've got to catch them being good as much as you can. So I hope those parenting strategies make sense to you, and I hope you'll give them a try at home.